Hello. I'm just making sure that there are actual people in the room with us this morning. Greetings, everyone. Good morning. That's more like it. Welcome, of course, to the Digital Built Environment Technologies Showcase, as well as the awards. Today is a very special day, both the day program as well as the evening program, as we'll be looking at how digital technologies in infrastructure have been of value, of benefit, and some people will even be sharing the lessons that they've learned and how it has impacted them. This will hopefully encourage more people as well as inspire them to either adopt the things that they have created or perhaps even start thinking about using digital technology in infrastructure, merging it all, of course, for the growth of not just South Africa, but the continent as a whole. We've got a very jam-packed program this morning, so we're going to immediately start off with our health and safety briefing video, and then we're going to get into the program of the day. Thank you so much for watching that video with us. Should you be in need of the Wi-Fi, the name of the Wi-Fi is Wi-Fi at UJ. That's all caps, that you may connect to it, of course. Please do take tons of pictures, because what is a celebratory day without some memorable photos being taken? Be sure to post them, tagging, of course, the relevant social media platforms and pages. We'll now be moving on. As I mentioned, we have quite the packed program for the day, both in celebration as well as in inspiration of all that has been done. Welcoming first, Professor Innocent Masonda. Please give him a round of applause.
Good morning. Lovely to see everyone here today. It's a great honor, ladies and gentlemen, to have you here and just bless us with your presence. Just on behalf of the organizing committee, the colleagues that you see around, it's an honor and pleasure to welcome you to our second Digital Built Environment and Technology Showcase. I must say that this year we meet at a critical juncture in the sense that there are quite a lot of demands on us in the field. There is now an increased need for much more resilient, sustainable infrastructure. The need for transparency and trust in our industry. And clients are demanding more value for money in terms of the infrastructure that we develop for them. And so these are increasingly becoming more important. And us as an industry cannot afford just to stand by and ignore these pressures. So it's our firm belief that digitalization can help the industry achieve these goals or at least overcome these pressures that we have at the moment that will keep on increasing in a much quicker way. So through DiBETSA, the Digital Built Environment and Technology Showcase, what we are really trying to do is to demonstrate that it is possible, it is achievable, we can be able to use the technologies. And we will be showcasing that in terms of the organizations that have adopted and used or applied these technologies. But also later in the day, we will be celebrating those projects as well as organizations that are taking a lead, or at least are exemplar in the field. And so we would like, through this showcase, to show others that them too can be able to implement or at least embark on this digital transition journey. So in addition to what we are going to be showcasing today, we have assembled a powerful panel of discussants, experts, practitioners. These are colleagues, men and women, that do not just talk about technology, but have actually used technology. So they will be showing us and telling us stories about how they have navigated this terrain. So we're really looking forward not just to the showcase, but to the discussions that we're going to have this morning. We are excited about this event, the second event. For us, DiBETSA is more of a collaborative platform. In fact, chatting to one of the colleagues in preparation for this event a week ago, commented that we are such a small industry, the built environment, the construction industry, we are a small industry. So this platform is just one way in which we can all come together and celebrate one another's achievement. That really encouraged me. And for a moment, I thought about it. Most of the events in the industry are organized around our silos. Okay, and I will not mention names. But this will try in a way, in the spirit of building information modeling as well, that we become collaborative. So I'm really, really grateful that you could make it here. And I want to thank everybody that made this event possible. First of all, I want to thank the Development Bank of Southern Africa, who so generously sponsored this event, and they are the main sponsors. Second year in a row. Federated Employers Mutual, SSCPC, as well as IDECO. Of course, we are not forgetting our exhibitors that are outside supporting us. This is not a large market, if you have to think about it. But the question is, why are they here? They just want to contribute. They want to help and show what is there. So really, we appreciate the exhibitors, and not forgetting the people that nominated the projects that we are going to be showcasing, and the nominees themselves that accepted to participate. 5 years from now, we will be talking about DiBETSA in a completely different way in terms of what this event is going to be and the force that it will be in terms of driving digitalization of the built environment. So for now, I would like to invite, it's really a great privilege for me to invite Professor Thokozani Shongwe, our Vice Dean, Research, Innovation, and Internationalization from the Faculty of Engineering and Built Environment, to formally welcome us to the University of Johannesburg, the great University of Johannesburg, as well as to DiBETSA. Prof, you're welcome.
Where to place this? Welcome to the great University of Johannesburg. For those who know, they will clap hands. Our Vice Chancellor insists, since appointed as the Vice Chancellor, to call it the great University of Johannesburg. It is with intention, obviously, to mention that there can be other universities trying to match up, but we are actually propelling to be the great University of Johannesburg, and we are actually doing great stuff. With those words, I would like to say good morning to our esteemed guests that are here, our honored award nominees. Are happy that this is a joyous event. Industry partners who are here to support us, dedicated academics who are always behind to make sure we achieve the greatness that we are, proud students who are at the forefront and our customers in everything that we do, and the friends of the faculty that are here. It is with honor to welcome you as the Vice Dean of the Faculty of Engineering and the Built Environment to this event. This is an event already you've seen in the posters called the Digital Built Environment Technology Showcase and Awards, which is affectionately, we call it DiBETSA. I know it may sound African, but it just so happened to coincide with the acronym. So we call it DiBETSA. We stand here, we are making a moment in history. I say a moment in history because we will look back in this time. This will be an event that has changed things, that has revolutionized the world. A moment where the physical building tools, the blueprint, are joined together, and in some cases they are being replaced by the drone, the digital twin, and the algorithm. The world of concrete and steel is being fundamentally reshaped, and data and connectivity is taking over. That doesn't mean that we're no longer going to have physical buildings. They continue to be there, but data makes it very quick and efficient and cost-effective. And the University of Johannesburg is determined not just to witness these changes or this transformation, but to lead it and not just be part of it. We know we are called the 4IR University. We are going beyond 4IR. If there's 5IR, we'll be there leading it. So in technology, we want to lead as a university and as a faculty. It is with this vision that DiBETSA was established. This event is conceived with a clear and urgent purpose, which is to aggressively promote the adoption of digital technologies across our entire built environment sector. We look around our beautiful nation, our continent, and we see immense potential. That is the vision that we have in the founders' minds. We see the need for infrastructure for housing, for sustainable cities, but we want to meet these needs with the required scale of speed and quality. We cannot rely on the methods of yesterday if we want to do that. We must embrace the tools of tomorrow. This is why we are here today. DiBETSA is not merely a conference or an event, if you can call it. It is a catalyst. It is built on 3 core pillars, which I'm just going to name. The first one is to demonstrate. Throughout our campuses in the University of Johannesburg, you will see many technologies that are being displayed. Your touch, experience technologies that are revolutionizing the engineering industry, from building information modeling that eliminates costly clashes before a brick is even laid, AI-driven project management that predicts delays, 3D printing of houses, and so forth. We are here to showcase that a future of efficient, effective, and profoundly sustainable projects is not a distant dream. It is a present-day reality, which we hope you can see in campus. If you visit all our campuses, this is what you will experience. The second pillar, we're here to celebrate. Later today, as you have seen in the program, we will have a distinct pleasure of honoring the pioneers, the individuals, the organizations, the visionary projects that are already employing these digital workflows. They are proof of concept. They are the ones breaking down barriers, taking risks, and showing us all of what is possible. Their success is an inspiration and are a collective achievement. Finally, in the third pillar, we are here to connect. If we have an event, you make sure that you are here to connect with other people. This is a living ecosystem. We have intentionally brought together brilliant minds of our general built environment community, our industry leaders, the architects, engineers, construction managers, quantity surveyors, with the innovators, the technology and experts that are here. The conversations you have in these halls and the contacts you exchange are the very links that will forge partnerships to build our future. Furthermore, our panel discussions, I hope in the panel discussions you will tackle a variety of challenges, but what I have listed for me that will be very key and interesting are questions to ask. How do we overcome the cost of adoption? How do we reskill our workforce? What are the ethical implications of using AI in construction? These are not simple questions, but they are necessary ones, and we've gathered leading voices which actually can address some of these questions. This is just my wishful list when you come to panel discussions. So to the students that are here and the young minds, I say be curious, You are the digital native generation who will carry this torch. Engage with your exhibitor, ask every question that you may have in your mind. This is the world you will inherit and also continue to live in. To our industry partners, you are here, be bold. I know industries, they tend to stay with the legacy or old ways of doing things, but see this event and partners and partner with us and use the tools we have to elevate your projects and your profitability. To all our guests, be engaged, be involved in the discussions that will take place. In conclusion, I will say DiBETSA is a statement of intent from the University of Johannesburg, the Faculty of Engineering and the Built Environment. It is our commitment to ensuring that our faculty and our graduates are not just ready for the future, but they're actively designing their own future. We are here to build, not just with concrete and steel, to remind you, but with innovation and insight. With those words, I would like to thank you and officially welcome all of you to this event.
Thank you so much, Prof. Your words have reminded me of a quote that was often shared with me while I was at school, one that probably we are all very much so aware of. It goes, if you give a man a fish, you feed him for a day. But if you teach him to fish, you feed him for a lifetime. And I think in the words of Prof, collaboration is so key with us passing knowledge to our young minds, as well as, of course, celebrating all of their innovations. It's within us that our collaboration can help take them even further. So thank you once more, Prof, for those words. We'll now be moving on very swiftly to the keynote presentation and launch, where I'd like to call on Professor Tyson Gumbo to lead that discussion. Let's give him a round of applause.
Thank you, Madam Program Director. I don't think there is any keynote, but mainly the launch. I'm glad that we're all here and we're going to witness that we don't just talk about digital transformations, but I would say we eat, we live and sleep digital transformation. That is in the CARINBE and the School of Civil Engineering, the Built Environment, as well as the faculty itself, the faculty being Phoebe. And I'm just here to showcase. I think I'm going to be the first person to showcase. Those ones they are preparing to showcase. So I'm going to showcase this book, which is a product of the center at the CARINBE. And this is a product of Professor Innocent Msonda, Dr. Aditayo, and Dr. Moyo, that's Tembani Moyo. As I indicated, we want really to prove that we don't just parrot digitalization in the University of Johannesburg. We really have products. And I'm glad that I'm speaking about this when the Vice Dean for Research and Postgraduate Studies is here with us. We have just opened Professor Shongwe. Professor Shongwe is responsible for making sure that we keep leading the 26 universities. Here I'm talking about public universities, not the private. And I don't know, maybe normally it's varsity colleges and all that if you are not public, you are not aligned to the country. So of all the 26 universities, since I'm civil engineering and built environment head of school, I think I would want also to just echo what my boss has just said here in the absence of Prof. Mashao, that we are leading and we lead with pride. And I think it's the past 2 or 3 years, we've been leading in research output. And I think the gap we stretched the last time, Prof. Shongwe, my boss, would attest, because I think at some point the gap between the number one, we're leading, I think it's 2021, if I'm correct, it was just a slim gap. But the second time, we managed maybe to lead by hundreds. And I want to believe that we are going to be stretching the lead, and this is testament to what we're talking about. And just for your own information, if you have a book, and this is authored book, It's not that one where you invite chapters from different contributors, then you edit. This is where the three people sit down and agree on a concept. And in this case, the concept was digital transformation. In the built environment, I would call it the Global South. I like talking about the Global South, of course, not talking about the equator and having those countries, the south of the equator, but we're talking about the level of economic development, and in this case, it's developing countries. So we, as I indicated, we really need to acknowledge this great work, the great effort that went in this work, and briefly talk to what is within this book, but mainly it's trying to improve the understanding of digital transformation, mainly the concept, the conceptual issues, and that, I mean, the principles of digital transformation and the challenges that we face in the developing countries, and other aspects really that we may find very useful as we learn more about digital transformation. By that, then I'll call upon Dr. Moyo to join me and Dr. Ade so that we can speak briefly about the book. We don't want to waste time, so that we can share what is within this product, and thereafter we can encourage you to, Prof. Msonda, there was a request to say, do we have copies out there where you can sign and they can pay a nominal fee? A nominal fee is not very expensive, but you know, for us to keep on really working, being energetic and producing more books, we need really to support the center, we need to support the school that I'm leading and the faculty that Prof. Shongwe is also leading. So appreciate just say a show of maybe appreciation to the work that we do in the school and in the center as well. We don't just as well publish, we also produce postgraduate students, and Dr. Moyo and Dr. Ade are also, I would say, a show of what we do in the center and school and faculty. These are products of the center, they are products of the school. They came through the hands of Prof. Sonda, and also I participated in supervising Dr. Moyo. So it's good really to always grow our timbers and make sure that we keep our young people within the universities and also have a leg maybe in the industry and contribute to new knowledge production. That's very, very important. As we talk about knowledge economies, we need to also showcase that. So I'll give an opportunity to Dr. Moya, then Dr. Ade will come as well and add some aspects of what is within the book, just some insights before we move on to the next item. Dr. Moya.
All right. Thank you, Prof. Gumbo. Thank you to the leadership of UJ. And also just to thank everyone who managed to take the time to come today. All right, so we're gonna just have a short presentation to just highlight the main contributions from the book, so that I think at the back there is one of the resellers who's there if you want a hard copy, so that at least you know what you're buying beforehand. All right, so let me ask Prof. Msonda to just come and give a brief presentation.
Just before I did a presentation, I also want to acknowledge this book was a 3-year project in the making, and some of our colleagues probably forgot about this work. BEAM Community Africa contributed greatly through webinars on that. Oracle contributed. This work was initiated as a request from CBE, the Council for the Built Environment, and from that it evolved into what we have today. We had several webinars, we had follow-up requests for information and the like. So I'll just speak to that before I I forget, I said I should recognize those entities first. So yeah, we are very excited for us that we are able to produce this particular book. It's not so pricey. It's out there. Yeah, when they told me the price, I was like, wow, okay, I should write more books. Yeah, so it covers just the whole idea of what do we do next? How do we move? And in fact, I must mention that from the findings in that book, we were moved to begin, the DiBETSA in a way, as part of the contribution to the whole process of digitalization. So the authors, that's myself there, and then Dr. Adetayo, I think by then they were doctoral students. Dr. Adetayo and Dr. Tembani Moyo are very brilliant young minds. You just heard from Dr. Moyo, and we worked together on the project. So why the book? So for us, we thought there was a gap in terms of knowledge, in terms of just tools that we needed to use as an industry to transition. We realized that there was no way we are going to escape digitalization. In fact, just about last week, somebody says, we are an economy that relies so much on labor, and so we need to promote that. I said, yeah, that is true. I think we need to start thinking about how we retrain those people, because the change is already here. So we saw that that gap existed, and to help entities, organizations, colleagues now, we needed to provide tools that can help them move or transition to the next stage in terms of digitalizing, because there is no escaping that. That's news for us. But also, we realized that there were lots of conversations about digital transformation in the construction industry. But these conversations were mainly dominated by the global north and not so much in the global south. And we needed to add that voice as well. Our situations here in the global south is unique. For example, the one that I just gave, we have a very high unemployment rate, and how do we ensure that no one is left? And that's not a situation or a problem that they have on the global north. So we needed to add that voice. But also, we needed to bring other neglected voices, such as women in construction or engineering. Mostly our conversations are dominated by males there, and we thought we needed to have that, a voice added. I'm not going to talk about what digital transformation is, but just in terms of the study itself, we used building information modeling as a proxy for digitalization, because with our thinking was that if we're going to digitalize in our industry, we needed to embrace building information modeling as a base. Have the right information, okay, in the right format, and that is a digital format. And you needed digital tools to collect that format, that information. And you needed digital applications to manipulate and process that information. And BIM was the basis, and that's the reason why we spent a little bit of more time just talking about the whole idea of BIM and digital transformation. So our approach in terms of producing this book, so obviously we looked at information in terms of the developing countries. We used both quantitative as well as qualitative. Quantitative, we reached out to all of you colleagues. Some of you participated, you recall from LinkedIn conversations we are having. We circulated questionnaires. We had webinars and polls through webinars. through 2022, I think to 2023, 2024, thereabout. But we also engaged in conversations with many of you through various forums, through webinars again, and on LinkedIn. But we also had focus groups and other with interest groups and collected all that information in terms of how do we move, what are the challenges that are out there. Okay. But we also looked at some of the case studies, either in the Global South, in the Global North, and tried to learn, especially on the whole issue of mandating, BIM on the continent. Can it work? Will it work? How can it work? As such, yeah. So that was our approach, and after that, we are able. I think there are seats here in front. They are not reserved. You're welcome, sir. And here. So just some of the insights in terms of the book and the organization. So we look at the various tools that can be used in digitalization, BIM in particular. What tools do we need to have just to author or to produce information? So we have covered that. We also looked at the aspect of information or data exchange. This is a crucial issue, especially between those that produce infrastructure or construct and those that receive the infrastructure for use, and the information exchange that happens in between. Quite often, we see a disconnect between the producers and the users of the information. And there are many stories, some of them very tragic, in terms of what has happened because of that disconnect. So the book covers that, both in terms of the best case studies, best use case cases, as well as what can be done or should be done to avoid the challenges that we have. Then we also looked at the collaboration platforms. Now, one of the big things in the construction sector is the so-called fragmentation. And digitalization is one way to break that or to break the silos. So we spend a little bit of time just trying to look at the collaboration platforms, as well as what tools are available. Some of it are free, some of it are paid for, and how you can be able to use those tools. Okay, and then we went on to look at specific questions in terms of experiences from those that participated in the study. We looked at financing. We looked at the whole issue of cloud platforms. There's this fear about, or security issues about cloud-based storage systems or hosting. And then some of the minor sections, it's all about just the understanding of BIM and digitalization in the construction industry. We wanted also to look at how are people using the various tools. So, in terms of this question and this section, it was more or less diagnostic, so that we can be able to help or develop programs for the future that we can, evolve and help others that want to embark on this journey of digitalization. So how are the organizations using the tools? And what we found, for example, that most of the organizations were still using older ways of doing things when it comes to scheduling, or even exchange of information. Emails dominate, for example. And no wonder the inefficiencies that we see in project delivery. We looked at some of the processes at the implementation stage, organization, and I mentioned earlier on the use of the common data environment as one key element when it comes to collaboration there. At the time when we were just compiling the book, the standards, the use of the standards in the industry was also a big issue. Locally here, we are also trying to look at how we can be able to apply the ISO 19650 and the related standards. So we wanted to see the uptake and the understanding thereof, and the tools and the templates, and how we can be able to contribute. So the book does touch on the standards and which standards we need to pay attention to. And we also look at some of the barriers, practically addressing the issues that were highlighted, that these are the barriers, these are the things that inhibit us in terms of implementing digital workflows or technologies in infrastructure delivery there. But we also provide, of course, some kind of solutions or advice on what to do in terms of the barriers that were highlighted. We identify in the book opportunities, to exploit, but also I talked about the youth unemployment issue in the country and the global south. So we addressed the whole issue of the human side of digital transitioning. Man in the loop or woman in the loop. We don't want to miss out others, but how do we bring everybody on board when it comes to digital transitioning them? At the end, we try to address the key action areas we thought at the time, and as I indicated earlier, that DiBETSA was born out of the findings from this book as well. But we thought that for us to move as an industry, we also need to more or less come up with a task force, a BEAM task force of some sort. We drew lessons from other regions of the world. They have got these. And if we are to move at a faster pace, we thought that's one area that needed to be addressed. The whole issue of standards, luckily, we are moving there. We have SANS now adopting some of those standards. Funding for research was a key issue. Pilot BEAM projects just embark, and out of this is what we are also doing here to showcase what others are doing in terms of project delivery. We thought that establishing a BEAM Center of Excellency, it could be here in Johannesburg, or could be anywhere, that is sponsored by the state or the government, would probably be a good way to go and push the franchise. But as well, we recommended that dynamic capacity development is something that we needed to embrace. We do not have to wait. We do not have to wait to acquire all the capacity that we need before we begin implementing or using the technologies. Our thinking was that from what we have gathered, we should be learning on the job as we go and not wait, because we are in a hurry. Looking at the pressures that are in the industry, we have to just begin doing something now. So dynamic capacity development to upskill the workforce probably is a way to go there for this industry. There are issues to do with legislation and policy change. And that's a big one. But we recommend that in a book. I think if we have to move. There's no question of whether we are going to use and adopt digital technologies. The issue is how organized are we, and are there standards, and is there appropriate legislation or policies in place? We cannot pretend that these things are not happening. Yeah, support for small and medium-sized construction companies is key because they are also in the supply chain. So they cannot be left behind. Otherwise, we are not going to have a complete solution. Central BEAM data management, we talked about that, and a clearer BEAM maturity roadmap for the built environment companies that they can be able to follow are some of the recommendations that we thought should be addressed. And we cover that in the book, you will see. We try to be as practical as possible in that book so that the book can be accessible, not just for the academics, but also for people who are users and those that are going to be implementing projects using digital technologies going forward. So, just in closing, I think the built environment is embracing building information modeling, hence digitalization, to enhance productivity, efficiency, and sustainability, while reducing lead times and life cycle costs. And these are the issues that the clients, the state, the key stakeholders are demanding, and increasingly are going to be demanding going forward. And we think digitalization enables improved project performance, high quality standards, as well as environmental sustainability. So driving digital transition will require, from what we saw, that policy development or refinement with clear digitalization goals or targets are in place, identifying policy gaps and evaluating stakeholder participation. That's critical. Assessing national frameworks for potential disruptive impacts. That's also very, very important. Advancing core technologies that we think can move us. Okay, politicians like calling these the low-hanging fruits, and we think there are many low-hanging fruits that we can utilize. Just walking past the stands outside gives us an idea of what we can easily be doing or what we can easily do right now at the moment. So advancing core technologies. And of course, combining technologies for specific use cases and building a market ecosystem for digital solutions through capacity and service development. We think that the industry as a whole should perhaps not go big, but think big, and then start small, but scale perhaps faster. Thank you very much, and we hope you can be able to grab a copy. If not, I think there's also a provision to read online. We would love you to get a copy here today. We have our publisher outside. Like I said, I want to thank everybody that contributed to the process. You probably would not recall, but in one way or another, you did contribute to the book, specifically the Council for the Built Environment, BIM Community, DiBETSA, Oracle, and many of your colleagues also contributed to mobilize people to give information towards data and information for this book. Thank you very much.
A round of applause for Prof. You saved my day. You saved my day. Thank you
so
very
much.
Prof. Msonda. Another stronger round of applause for Prof. Msonda. Thank you very much. As you have heard from Prof. Msonda, this is very comprehensive. I'm sure myself and the leader here would have wanted maybe or preferred a 300-page book, but for the purposes of practicality and also making sure that also the industry partners can really find it very interesting, we really wanted to make sure that it's not very long. But I'm sure the book can fetch around six or seven units, Prof. Just to say that, thank you very much. Just to say that in UJ, we talk about digitalization, that's digital innovation, but over and above that, as part of the vision, the new vision, that's 2035, we also talk about issues of societal impact, and we strive to implement the SDGs. And as if you had, we have so many SDGs that are really featuring in this book. One can talk about SDG number 11, where we talk about sustainable cities, and also issues of stakeholder participation. One could talk about SDG number 16, and also bring in SDG number 17 as well. And ultimately, this leads to poverty, I would say reduction. One could talk about eradication. So the idea is to make sure that we build safer, secure, and inclusive communities through digital transitioning. And normally Prof. Msonda talks about building better. And in DRR, that's disaster risk reduction or management, we talk about building back better, 3 Bs. So I think with time you're going to put another B in between. You build better, or you can build back better, especially from what you talked about, where we have disasters. The George incident comes to mind. How do you build back better in terms of disasters that we experience in our different environments? So I didn't want to say much, but just to say we hotspot as head of school and as vice dean for research. We hotspot and take credit in this book. I think it's good to be a leader, even if you didn't contribute much. So this is good, Prof. Msonda and your students, and also now postdocs. We need more books of this nature, as I was talking about, 7 units, and in that environment of performance evaluations. And I'm very proud. I'll be telling the dean that my school produced so many books, and one of the books is this one. This is Taylor and Francis, Routledge, and this is very, Dr. Moyo, aren't you proud of such a very, I would say, what do you call it? What do you call it? We know that in the DHE list, they list these publishers, and we really take credit when we have such high impact book. In other words, it's credible. We don't really doubt such products. Of course, we want journal articles as academics, but would want such books as well that can inform practice. Of course, the theory is good, but we talk about the nexus between the theory and the practice is very, very important. We want to remain relevant. I know the industry say, you guys just write, but we write something that is impactful, that informs practice as well. So we're very glad and proud of such products. I don't want to say much. Prof. Msonda has done a good job in making sure that he talks about the principles, the concepts, and also what needs to be done in the future as we transit in this very wonderful, innovative technologies in the built environment. And with that, I think, Joy, thank you very much, Program Director, for this opportunity, but I don't want to waste time. I think we're going to be having break, and it's good stuff that is out there prepared for the audiences. Thank you very much, guys. I think I deserve a round of applause, don't I? Thank you very much.